Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it's the weekend, so it's movie review time, and as the title would say, I have been to see Saw X. So yes, I myself, like you, are probably thinking, how have we got to 10 films in this franchise? Obviously, I do love the first one very much, so I think it's a very genius film. Yeah, they haven't done the best going on from that. I didn't mind Jigsaw, and I didn't mind Spiral. Two that I don't own, unfortunately. But yeah, let's get into this one. So, anybody who hasn't seen the trailer, who knows that Saw 10 is basically the story of John Kramer, who is Jigsaw. This takes place between the movies of Saw 1 and Saw 2. So, after Saw 1, after he kind of does his first kind of capturing people and stuff and kind of becomes synonymous, he finds out he unfortunately has brain cancer and he believes that it is inoperable and he has months to live, basically. Going to these groups and stuff, he finds he meets a person who later he bumps into, and obviously he says he's clean. He's free. He had pancreatic cancer. Says that he's found somebody who can fix him, and that there is this female scientist. She is the daughter of this leading scientist who has coming up with his cocktail and his surgery that can do it. And then John Kramer goes to Mexico and goes through this operation to have this. Pays a lot of money. They don't really focus too much on the money. Then obviously realises that this has all been a con and he decides to take his revenge, as Jigsaw does. A few twists and turns, and a few good twists and turns. A few honourable mentions, obviously, because it's set between the films of 1 and 2. We get to see a few recurring characters from previous Saw movies. And there is one little bit mid-credit scene. So as the credits roll up, there is a kind of mid-credit scene which kind of, it has been a link to that there would be a future after this. I don't know where, because obviously, you have 1 to 7 kind of, and then you have Spiral that down here, and then we've gone all the way back here. So will we have another one? But anyway, overall, I did think actually I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. It brings a lot of heart. There's a lot more story and stuff, and they go about things a little bit of a different way, I feel, and just some of the devices and the stuff, it kind of fits in all with the world. So yes, I would definitely recommend it. So put the spoiler review up and let's get into this. So as I said, this whole story is about obviously John Kramer. It very much, he's in a hospital. We obviously find out he's got this inoperable brain cancer, and that's it. And he's going through the motions, and it's like, what would you do? It is very interesting of as he goes through this operations, you get to see his kind of mindset. And as maybe I'm getting older from when I watched the first one, I kind of agree with him. Basically, his moral compass is, if you do something wrong, then his whole play a game thing, it's basically a way for you to redeem yourself, to have a second chance in a way, and kind of way I sympathise a little bit with. Not that I want to put anybody in cages or do any things. In life there are a lot of bad things that everybody encounters and stuff, and there are a lot of people who aren't very much the nicest, and I do feel that sometimes they need something to happen to them to realise, being kind to people and being nice to people, or just doing the right thing is a way forward. There are good things and there are bad things in life. If you try to be a good person, and then and say, are we using example? Say like somebody passes you in the street and you'll get away, and say thank you. It doesn't take that much, but the problem is the most people that don't say thank you is that person who then doesn't do it themselves, and it kind of, the negativity flows more. Because we need to be more positive about things, and we need to understand that there are bad people out there, but the more positive we are, hopefully that will be more influential on people rather than negative. Anyway, it's getting started. John Craig. So he goes through all this operation. Obviously finds out there's this person, researches it. Obviously the woman's dad does seem to be credible, and that's why he goes to this operation, meets all these people. They all seem really nice and stuff until after the operation, and then he realizes, because it's kind of hidden away, this facility, but because he's an architect and stuff, he remembers landscapes and knows where it is, goes to give him one of the people that are present. And then that's when he finds out what it is. This is when he then places a call to Hoffman, who you remember for the couple, I think, from 4 and 5. And then obviously Amanda does make quite a big appearance in this as well, because obviously she leads on from number 1. I don't really want to say too much about the rest of the stuff that goes on because I don't want to give much away. There is a few good twists and turns I do. Now, this movie is very much, the first half an hour, 40 minutes is all about John Kramer learning about his life, learning about him and what he's going through and stuff like this. Apart from what you see, the eyes thing, that is the kind of poster for it, that is a dream fantasy that he has in it, and you do see him scrolling little designs that he wants to do, but for the most part it's you'll learn about him that he is just simply an ill old man that wants people to do good. Yes, he doesn't go about it in the right way but that is it, and I think it gives it a bit more of a heart. There's a lot of these stories, and I think it even says in the things, is the first one where it hasn't, there's been a murder and there's a cop chasing them. This is completely different, which I think works so much well. Mixing it up does really, really well. He does use some a bit more basic traps, I would say, and that explains it. And I think that works really well. The fact that you can tell, like, he's in Mexico and he kind of Jerry Wrigley's some of these together, and it kind of makes sense. Where he gets some of this stuff from, I don't know. But because he's an architect and stuff, and those elements I think really work. They work really well in the timeline of where Jigsaw would be. And I think it is a very interesting, because watching this, it makes me cast back to number one, and I love one so much. But it reminds me of like all the horror franchises, or if you would call it horror, you know, it's probably more mainstream horror than other stuff. It's the only one where you kind of have the first film, and after the first film, they more or less kind of kill Jigsaw off, which is, they don't normally do that unless they're like the undead, like Jason Voorhees, or, you know, in your dreams. You know, none of them have really ever done that and had these other bad guys or sidekicks coming into it. And to be honest, this really did open up this story. I mean, as you see, he tries to get revenge on them. Some stuff goes right, some stuff goes wrong, and there's traps, and there's little bits, and it all makes sense. There are some bits that you come along and you kind of question it, and then it all makes sense in the end. Which I thought was really good. Like I say, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil this for people. I would definitely recommend this. I mean, I'm going to go with 7. I'm going to go with 7 out of 10 is what I would rate this, because I think it is a really good film. It's a really good film for the franchise itself. And when people have said like it's Saw 1 and then this, I kind of agree with them. I think it is done. It's a shame we didn't get this after Saw 1. And it kind of opens up that world, because we're dealing with TV series. I don't think Saw should carry on from here in movie form. I think they need to do a TV series, and I think it should be a limited TV series, say 6-8 episodes, where you get to meet all the characters and kind of John Kramer, because Tobin Bell is brilliant as him, but unfortunately, you know, he is an old man in real life. He ain't going to be around too much, and the fact he's been around, what is it, like 15 years, between 1 and 10, and I really think they need to kind of have, you know, maybe just some stuff in his childhood that's maybe setting up how he meets Amanda and how he meets Hoffman, and a little bit more concrete of that, and have a few more interactions in between them like this is, and kind of set this up as series and just have like the life and have it kind of mixed in between the movies, and then you can have actors and actresses who were in those movies come back. Obviously there's certain people like Chester Bennington that you couldn't do, but I think there's a little bits like that would be nice, just to have a kind of fluid story behind the scenes and then kind of end it there. And I think the 10 films and that would be enough to maybe draw a line, because I say it's rare, I think, in a film that this later down the line that the movie is so good, and I can't explain why it is so good. Maybe it's just because they took their time, they wanted to do this original story and do something a little bit different, and it worked so well. But yeah, I know this hasn't been the most clear view. As I say, there's a lot of stuff I don't want to give away. But yeah, this has been my review for Saw X. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. Have you seen the movie? What did you think? Please let me know down below. If you haven't seen the movie but seen the franchise, what is your views on the Saw franchise? Also, again, let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I've been Cypher Sigma. Screen time. I shall see you in the next one.